Decoding Rumi's Masnavi by Pirjan. Part 2. Story of the Night-thieves. Concerning the subject of love, we must address what is now called freedom, and in old mysticism called poverty and solitude. Freedom in mysticism is a different category, and is a major part of the journey within. Story of the night-thieves with whom Sultan Mahmúd fell in during the night, saying, "I am one of you," and how he became acquainted with their affairs, etc. While King Mahmúd was roaming about alone at night, he encountered a band of thieves. Thereupon they said to him, "Who art thou, O honest man?" "I am one of you," replied the king. One of the thieves said, "O company practised in cunning, let each of us declare his special talent. Let him tell his comrades in the night talk what eminent skill he possesses in this nature." One said, "O ye fellows who are exhibiting your cleverness, my specialty lies in my 2 ears. It is this that I know what a dog is saying when it barks." The party replied, "2 dangs of a dínár." "If I see anyone in the world by night, I know him by day without having any doubt as to his identity." Another said, "My specialty lies in my arm. I make tunnels through walls by strength of hand." Another said, "My specialty lies in my nose. My business is to detect the characteristic smell in different earths. The secret of men our minds has yielded itself to me, so that I know the reason why the Prophet has said it. From smelling the earth of the body, I know how much good ore is hidden therein, and what sort of mine it holds. In one mine is contained gold immeasurable, while in the case of another the revenue derived from it is less than the expenditure. In the beliefs of Neoplatonic philosophy, up to the prophets and according to Plato and Aristotle, humanity makes sense as far as the human is conscious. Today, creatures with specific chromosomes are known as human beings, regardless of their cognition. Yet, humans are not equal in many ways, including knowledge and cognition. Humans have many varieties, but in mysticism, what matters is cognition, and the more knowledgeable, the more valuable. Human beings are divided into slaves and masters by Aristotle, but mysticism has found a different view. Life is never limited and it is infinite. Life is a permanent development of growth and excellence. There is no specific target, and the path and target are the same. The path of human growth will never end. If there are physical laws, such as gravity or magnetism in nature, there is also a power within the human being, which is the mind. Rumi claims to have this power, and anyone who wants to achieve this ability must heed what he says. In mysticism, love appears after the human experiences the necessary growth. Love is a natural move, an innate quality. Just as a 6-month-old baby cannot be taught to eat, love cannot be transmitted to anyone without this natural bloom. This growth is the same as love. Mystics are prophets of love, defining love. Love differs from ordinary interest and appears when the obstacles of existence are removed. These obstacles are the very identities that prevent us from understanding ourselves properly. Self-knowledge is not the same as memory, and love is not meant to render a person useful for society. The human is meant when the universe is known, but in mysticism, what is realized in the human being exists in the universe. When this erupts, individuality flourishes and humans can observe themselves. Among things induced by identity is credit. If the credit is threatened, the identity will always find ways to make up for it. What matters about the awareness of Rumi or Hafiz to us is due to the credit we may derive from them. Sometimes the personal life of Rumi or Hafiz is important to us because sanctification is for us to gain credit. Identity is concerned with the standards of the society of the time. But in mysticism, these matters do not matter, and mysticism does not seek a hero or a saint. Faith in the chronology and details of people's lives is merely the temptation of identity. What matters is to pay attention to the contents and meanings of Rumi's words. Of Rumi's teachings is that the power of the human mind is very influential in the universe, yet it is invisible because it is not seen. When a business person focuses solely on the problems and debts, they lose the power to apply their financial and mental powers, and if they do not focus on the problems, they can leverage their mental capabilities to solve problems. If we constantly focus on poverty and misery, we become really poor, and we succeed when we focus on our abilities. When humans focus on the whole and recognize the power of the whole mind, all things will be easy for them. Like Majnun, I smell the soil and detect the soil of Layla without mistake. Mystics have created stories for us to understand love. In the story of Layla and Majnun by Nizami, Layla asks her mother when dying not to let Majnun know about her death, but Majnun knows and goes to find her grave. A child in the cemetery tells him that he must find the grave by the smell of Layla. A mind devoid of identity and contamination has been shown in these stories with the symbol of a child. I smell and know from every shirt whether tis belongs to Joseph or Nariman. Like Ahmed who catches scent from Yemen, the nose of mine has gained some portion of that. Which soil is a neighbor of gold, or which soil is empty and poor? Another said, "Look here, my specialty lies in my fist. I can throw a lasso to the height of a mountain, like Ahmed, whose spirit threw a lasso so high that his lasso bore him to heaven." And God said to him, "O thrower of the lasso, of thy aspiration, at the celestial house, deem that act of throwing to be from me. Thou didst not throw when thou threwest." If mental power is lost, the human will lose everything. The mind must be cleansed of all contaminants and identities. The human values life in the context of the programs. Then the thieves asked the king, saying, "O man of authority, in what may thy special talent consist?" He replied, "My specialty lies in my beard. I can save criminals from punishment. When criminals are handed over to the executioners, as soon as my beard moves, they are saved. When I move my beard in mercy, the executioners put an end to the killing and all the trouble." The company said to him, "Thou art our Qutb, for thou wilt be the means of our deliverance on the day of tribulation." Afterwards they all set out together and went towards the palace of the fortunate king. When the dog barked on the right, one of them said, "It says, the Sultan is with you." Rumi here wants to say that God is not separate from you, and you are not separate from him. The king is not unaware that the thieves have come to his treasury. Rumi or Hafiz must be understood with the depth of existence, not with the thought. Thinking does not comfort the human, and mystics believe in abandoning thought to achieve peace. Mysticism has nothing to do with philosophical reasoning, challenging the mind. One does not need to sanctify to understand mysticism correctly, but the first step is to seek out mystical paths and not to analyze it with the mind.